This is called a walking wheel. This is the traditional wheel that you would have most seen in the area when my folks settled here. Although the first European settlers brought over the smaller wheel, which is called a table wheel or a Saxony wheel that's used with flax. They would have brought that in from Europe, but as those wheels in the more remote areas fell into disrepair, they switched back to this one because they had wheelwrights and they had blacksmiths to make these parts, but they didn't have the knowledge to make the more complicated Saxony wheel. The advantage of this wheel is it works really well with wool. The disadvantage is you have to stay on your feet the entire time. You can't sit down and spin. They call it a walking wheel or a wool wheel, a walking wheel because you walk about 3 steps backwards as you're drafting, which is what this process is called. And then after you get it spun out as much as you can as far as you can reach, you change the angle and wind it back on. So this is a slower process. The flyer wheel will put the wool on at the same time that you're spinning. But the wheel does a lot of the work. All I basically do is feed the fiber into the twist. This is what's called a simple machine, and it's producing energy that falls down into the fiber as a twist.
Now, tell me about what's in your left hand, that fiber.
Okay, this is sheep's wool. It's called Romney. What I did before I got ready to spin, I carded it. I use a pen brush, basically, called a hand card. You put it on the fiber onto the card, and then you brush it. What this does is introduce air into the fiber and align all the little strands, and it also takes any kind of straw or hay because animals are animals, and so they get hay in their wool. And then after that's done, I have a little bundle called a rolag, and that's what I spin from.
And where is all of this going? Is it going into a yarn?
Well, after I fill this
Going on
up,
that, yeah. Okay.
after I fill this up, this is called building a cop. This will be a big cone of yarn. After I fill it, I'll take it off and I'll spin another one. Then I spin the two together. That's called plying. And after it's plied, it makes a yarn that we can knit or weave or crochet or felt or do all kinds of things with.
Okay, let's hold that for a minute.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Neat. Yeah.
Now, I have about 6 or 8 spinners that I represent in Northwest North Carolina and Southwest Virginia in my shop. I also sell the fibers that some of the farmers produce as well for spinning and felting.
Oh, okay. So you said this is your passion.
Oh, yeah, it sure is.
And do you make a living with this now?
This is how I make my living. I've had a shop in Meadow for 9 years in different incarnations, but I've been, getting by with hand spinning for the last 9 years.
Awesome. spin a little, and I'll
Okay.
film you working. If you want to talk, you can, or if you want to just.
Okay. Well, we were talking about stories earlier um, with a lady that was inside, and I think everybody has a story. And stories and music are so important to the people in the mountains of Southwest Virginia. You'll meet somebody and they'll say, "What's your story?" And they want to know where you belong and who you're related to and what your place is in the society.